Hey, it's Huntsman with ArenaGaming, and today we're going to talk about the most common mistakes people make in Arena. So, let's get to it. Mistake number 1. Or should I say mistake number uno? Alright, mistake number 1. Avoid edges and objects. Because if you run into Crank and you're on the edge, you will be flying off the map. And that is a no-go. That's not good. You don't want to lose your champion because then you will have to waste a turn spawning one. So what I like to do is stay on the inner lanes and avoid the edges of the map. But if you're staying on the inner lanes, you still want to avoid Crank, okay? Because Crank is a deadly mofo and he will knock you into objects, which does bonus damage. So try to avoid him, try to maneuver around him. Now, there's 2 ways you can fall off the map. First way is Crank can knock you off the map. The second way is if your opponent has a shell called Shockwave. That is the worst thing that can happen too. If he uses that, you will fly off the edge without any warnings because you don't know when it's coming, where it's coming. He can use that on any of his champions, and it is a deadly shell. I would say it's probably the best shells you can equip yourself with. So let's move on to mistake number 2. Mistake number 2 is don't line up champions or group them together because Lady Aurora and Crank will just do bonus damage. If you line up champions, Lady Aurora's second skill will do double damage, or should I say will do damage to both champions with one hit, with one attack, and that goes for Crank too. Crank will knock both of your champions into each other or into objects and do additional damage, which is why would you want to do that? Don't line them up or don't group them together because Crank will do damage with one attack to multiple champions around him. So stay away, guys. Don't group them together. Keep your champions apart. Try to spread them as the best you can. If you find yourself that you group together, try to avoid Crank at least or Lady Aurora so you don't take that additional damage. And that is once again mistake number 2. Don't line up champions or group them together. Let's move on to mistake number 3. Mistake number 3. Avoid tiles. The most common one in this game. You already know about this because the game already tells you about this. Avoid tiles such as the skull or the fire pit. You don't want to get pulled in or pushed in by the Crank or the butcher, alright? That is the most common thing. You know it's deadly, so don't do it, alright? Let's move on to mistake number 4, the not so common one. Mistake number 4. Avoid Harlequin. The amount of damage he does is ridiculous. You don't want to run into him. Don't let him attack you twice. Don't do it, all right? Let him come to you if he wants to attack you. Don't run into him and let him do 2 attacks on you because you will die. He does 3 damage. That's too much. All right? So keep your distance away from him and let this guy come to you or try to avoid him as much as possible. Mistake number 5. Don't spawn all low health champions. You are doomed to lose if you do that. Let's move on to mistake number 6. Mistake number 6 is don't attack your own team. It happens because sometimes you're just out of position, but don't do it. Why do damage to your own team, you know? Sometimes you have a great opportunity that you want to take and you just got to take it and you will kill off one of your champs, but try to avoid that as much as possible. There is team damage in this game. Alright guys, thank you for watching and I'll see you guys in my next video.